ethics or mastering the passions are so important, because these kind of things do make an impression on you. And anyone who does take in certain kind of media kind of knows that, you know, this is why, like, in spite of the fact that my main thing is demonology, I'll, like, go home and watch My Little Pony because it's cleansing to me. I don't really need, I don't need more horrible stuff in my life.
Yeah.
I want ponies because I have lots of, enough evil as it is.
There's a Facebook meme for you. I want ponies. Ryan and Merc.
Well, I think it's important to open yourself up to stimulus, which is directly opposite what you're interested in, just to get exposure to something different kind of thing.
Well, it's good to have balance. I mean, and essentially it does what Levi is talking about when he talks about mastering the passions. It does come down to a balanced mind, and I think that's why Crowley sort of tries to master his passions by throwing himself into everything that he can do, where Levi's taking a step back. But Levi kind of got kicked around a lot in his life. And I mentioned before his cynicism about romantic relationships. There's one point where he just says, very clearly, it's like, to be an adept, you cannot have, like, reason should be your only love, like true reason and true knowledge and blah, blah, blah. And Crowley was more kind of like, I'm going to fuck a goat, like, we'll get someone to fuck a goat. He didn't actually fuck the goat.
Is that bad, occult Tai Chi?
Pardon me?
Would that be classified as bad, occult Tai Chi?
I don't know, if you clean the goat first. But it is true that you carry things with you. I mean, I talked about our minds being hardwired to find meaning, and they really are, and they do. This is part of the reason that Crowley was so adamant about his students doing yoga, and that was his big thing about introducing that, is because it is being aware of one's own thoughts. You do focus. Everyone's had this experience of being in a bad mood, and then, like, thinking about things that are going to just, like, put you in a worse mood, and then, like, keeping those thoughts in your head, and you just focus on the negative because it feels good to focus on the negative in a way. I mean, it feels bad because you feel bad, but it feels good to feel bad at that point. You like, dwell in it. You just, like, indulge in it as much as possible. Like, and then it's funny, when you start doing serious yoga and you start realizing where you trace these thoughts back. Liber Thesaur was one of Crowley's, like, best books on that, where he's like, okay, basically what you do is you sit down to do your yoga, then you think, why did I sit down to do this yoga? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? You just trace it back. It's actually Bereshith. Am I saying that right?
Bereshith?
Yeah, Bereshith backwards, because you're supposed to be. And Bereshith is the first word in the Bible. What does it mean exactly?
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, yes. So by putting the word backwards, it's
you're working back to the beginning.
Yeah, you're working back to the beginning. And that's kind of like, the more you learn to start tracing stuff back, and this is very helpful when one gets in a bad mood. It's kind of like, well, why am I in a bad mood? And you start to trace your thoughts back, and it's usually over something really stupid. Or it's like, it's just, I need to eat. I didn't get enough sleep. Or, my blood sugar's low right now, and that's putting me in a bad mood. And that's why I'm thinking about, like, how pissed off I am at someone at work, and blah, 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 even though that happened like 3 days ago, or whatever it happens to be. And this is literally what Levi's talking about when he's talking about mastering the passions. It's getting into control and knowing, this is why I feel this way. These are the chain of events that brought me here. So there's something about knowing that breaks the fascination, breaks the hold on the mind. When you have figured it out, it's like knowing the end of a movie when you're watching it. Like, when you're watching it, it might be very suspenseful. You're on the edge of your seat. You don't know what's going to happen next. You watch it again, you know what's going to happen. So you might still enjoy it. You might still appreciate it. It might still be awesome, but it doesn't have the same effect as it had the first time that you watched it.
Well, when I worked with an exercise like that for a while, going back, like, through my day, I found I was having night terrors every single time I did it and stuff. So, like,
Yeah, it's probably not connected.
Yeah, it's just strange. Well, no, it happened, like, only when I did that. So it's like, I don't know, it seemed to rewire my whole nervous system and have, like, this strange thing happening. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, strange things happen.
Yeah. Ever since I got into